4 deep up in the Malibu. I slide through where they slide through and serve beef like a drive-through. My crew brings Christ to the alley. I'm a Cali fool, feed him the rock, call it the alley-oop. Yeah, Brody, you shanking where I bring the word. Gunshots, holding prayer circles where they stain the curb. We make disciples where they're toting glocks, cause it's funkier than dope fiend socks. The block's hotter than some old steam pots. They rock product till the whole thing drops, chopping and hit the block from old green knots. God's the Father and
welcome everybody to another edition of the Brody File. Glad you're with us. It is December, and that means, you know what? January is after December. Did you know that? Breaking news here at the Brody File. January 20th, to be exact, that's when Donald Trump and the folks move in, Barack Obama and those folks move out. And for more on the Trump transition process, let's get to the White House. Jennifer Wishon joining us. Jenny in the B block now joining us in the A block, which Jennifer, just so you know, is a promotion. I don't know if you know that, but it is.
Do I get a raise?
Well, I guess we'll discuss that later because I haven't seen a check recently. Hey, let me ask you this Trump transition timeline. How's it going so far?
Well, we are 4 weeks into this thing, David. It's been 4 weeks since Donald Trump was elected the next president of the United States. He has picked 11 members of his cabinet, and in true Trump winning form, his team likes to remind reporters that this is really the fastest pace that a president-elect has picked a cabinet in some 40 years. And really, if you want to compare that to where President Obama was at this point in his transition, I think this week is when he had picked his first cabinet secretary, a very important secretary at that time in our history, his Treasury Secretary, Tim Geithner. So President-elect Donald Trump is moving really at record speed.
You know, it's been very interesting here, Jennifer, to see, boy, there's been quite a few social conservatives in this cabinet. And I'm just wondering what your sense is of the makeup so far. I would think it's got to please social conservatives out there.
Oh, yes. I mean, you know, we know that 81% of evangelicals went to the polls and voted for Donald Trump, and it seems like he's not forgetting that. I mean, a vast majority of his cabinet either has a Christian background or is a practicing Christian. It's pretty diverse. You have several women, you have 2 retired generals, and there's still, you know, more picks to go. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to watch, you know, even someone like Dr. Ben Carson, who's the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. You know, you've made the point that everyone thought that he would be, you know, maybe the Secretary of Health or maybe Education. But I'm really interested to watch him in this role. You know, a black conservative who grew up in poverty and who really lifted himself out of that in a remarkable way. So it'll be interesting to see how his personal passions, you know, really lead him in this new role.
Yeah, and it's also interesting because, you know, he's not a big fan of government handouts, if you will. And then, you know, HUD does quite a bit of those government handouts. So we'll see. Hey, I'm wondering about Trump's first 100 days. I mean, my guess is we'll hear a lot about how he's just doing things unbelievably and he's just the best and 140 characters or less. Right. But beyond that, what's the agenda looking like for those 100 days?
Well, we know that he wants to get out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, aka TPP. We know that he wants to cut regulations on businesses and get rid of some environmental regulations. Oh, and something very important, he's going to be nominating his first pick to the Supreme Court. But you have to remember, David, that when Congress comes back to Washington, the new Congress begins in January, they're going to be bogged down very early on with confirming Trump's cabinet picks, confirming his first Supreme Court pick. So I'm hearing from some folks on the Hill that it really may be, you know, March, even May, before they get into the real substantive issues that Trump wants to tackle. Oh, and I forgot to mention immigration reform. So they have some heavy lifting to do. It'll be interesting to see how this relationship plays out. I mean, you know, in the business world, it's easy to walk into the boardroom and kind of lay the law down, right? That's not necessarily how it's going to happen. These things take time, and especially with some of these regulations that Trump wants to roll back or reverse that Obama put in place, you know, some of these may face court action because you have, you know, 2 opposing bureaucratic opinions here, if you will. So, you know, it looks like Congress is on board with a lot of the president-elect's first priorities, so that's a good thing for him, but it's going to take a little time.
Jennifer was Sean at the White House. You know, Trump's not playing around, and by the way, I'm sure neither are you. You ain't playing there.
I ain't playing.
Thanks, Jennifer. Appreciate it. All right. You know, we talked about Ben Carson a little bit. The good doctor could have run, as Jennifer was saying, he could have run Health and Human Services, he could have run Education, but instead it is going to be HUD, Housing and Urban Development. And you know, we had a chance to talk to Ben Carson multiple times on the campaign trail, but we actually spoke to him for the first time in his home, him and his wife Candy Carson, about the education issue specifically, because he grew up in low-income housing, and they now have the Carson Education Scholars Fund, which they are very, very proud of. They do a lot of great work within the inner cities. It's something we talked to them about in that first interview. Have a look.
Helping the kids to understand that the person that has the most to do with what happens to you is you. It really resonates, and they get so excited about the books and the learning. And we started in the 4th grade, before kids have taken that irrevocable path down the wrong way. Because if we can get kids to start thinking about their future early on, then there's less chance of them dropping out. You know, the dropout rate nationally is between 20 and 30% of those who enter high school. And these 80% of them are functionally illiterate, and they can't fill out a job application. So they become a drain on society. So that's why we tried to set up these role models.
The key thing is that we realize that education is the great divide in this country. It doesn't matter what else is going on in your life. If you get a good education, you have an excellent opportunity of being able to control the events in your life and not being a victim.
Some interesting insight from Ben Carson and his wife Candy. Hey, speaking of cabinet secretaries, how about James Mattis, the retired general? Boy, they call him Mad Dog Mattis. He means business. And you know, I had a chance actually to moderate a panel with him at the USGLC, the United States Global Leadership Coalition, back in 2014 down in Virginia. He's not as fire and brimstone as everybody thinks. He actually talks a lot about development and diplomacy and working with allies. Have a look at some of our conversation.
You have been in some difficult spots around the world, obviously. Iraq, Afghanistan, we can go on and on. You said this one time when you were at a Senate hearing, you said, quote, "If you don't fund the State Department fully, then I need to buy more ammunition." And I'm wondering what you mean by that exactly, and maybe how that sheds some light on international development.
Yeah. David, my point that day was we're engaged in an international competition of ideas, competition of values. And we're going to have to engage in traditional diplomacy. We're going to have to engage in some sort of communications that compellingly, that persuasively conveys our values. Now, they grew out of the Enlightenment. They got voice in our Declaration, our Constitution, our Federalist Papers. But right now, there's a competition going on. There are people who thought, maniacs who thought by attacking us on 9/11, they could scare us into silence, scare us into retreating from the world. Well, we've proven we don't scare. But the bottom line is, that's not good enough just to prove we don't scare. Now we have to engage, and that means traditional diplomacy, that means education programs that bring students to our land, that means the counterparts to Radio Free Europe and Voice of America going into places where hatred's being espoused. We've got to engage, and that was my point that day.
And the fallout, if that does not happen, if there's not full engagement financially from the State Department, the funding, what happens then at that point?
Well, the challenge we face right now, ladies and gentlemen, is there's only two elements of our government that are truly, in the executive branch, truly composed for competition. One is the CIA and the other is the military. We need foreign policy, foreign aid, the State Department, everyone organized for competition in this free competition of ideas. I'm convinced that ours have stood the test of time over hundreds of years. And I'm convinced there are millions of people, hundreds of millions, who will respond to those ideas. But absent that response in a positive way, vacuums, at least in the area I was working with, the Middle East, are not generally filled by good people. We've got to stay engaged. If we create a vacuum in this area, then we should not be surprised with what comes out at just that time of history when there's some pretty recalcitrant people out there in terms of power over people. And we don't look at it that way, but we're going to have to engage.
Mad Dog Mattis with me on that panel there. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about General George Patton. Why does Trump love this guy so much? Back in a moment. And welcome back, everybody, to the Brody File. Hey, let's talk a little bit about Donald Trump and James Mattis, who's going to run the Defense Department, considering or assuming that the Senate does confirm him, which they will. Don't worry about that, for sure. But look, he talks about James Mattis in very colorful terms, especially when it comes to referencing a former general, General George Patton. Have a look.
They say he's the closest thing to General George Patton that we have, and it's about time. It's about time.
So, you know, that got us thinking here at the Brody File. We've noticed that Donald Trump invokes George Patton's name a lot. He goes, I love General Patton. He's the best. And we said to ourselves, well, what was General Patton all about? Well, there's no better way to describe it than watching this clip. George Patton in 1970, actually it's George C. Scott, the actor who played George Patton. Have a look, and this will give you an insight as to who George Patton really was.
All this stuff you've heard about America not wanting to fight, wanting to stay out of the war, is a lot of horse dung. Americans traditionally love to fight. All real Americans love the sting of battle. When you were kids, you all admired the champion marble shooter, the fastest runner, big league ball players, the toughest boxers. Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time. I wouldn't give a hoot and hell for a man who lost and laughed. That's why Americans have never lost and will never lose a war, because the very thought of losing is hateful to Americans.
Well, that really gives you a sense of why Donald Trump loves George Patton. All in for America. Stop your complaining. Stop your whining. It's all about winning. Forget losing. That's Trump. That's why he likes Mattis. That's why he loved Patton. All right, when we come back, the African American community and abortion. Some serious concerns. It's been going on for a while, how abortion has really run through that community specifically, and boy, oh boy, have there been some problems. Welcome back, everybody, to the Brody File. Look, faith leaders really out in front on the life issue. We hear so much about, pro-life legislation in Congress, but let's take a step back for a moment and see how the pro-life issue, or the life issue itself, has affected the African American community. It has, and in a big way, and faith leaders are speaking out about that, about Planned Parenthood, about some of the founder of Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, and some of her controversial comments as well. It all culminated in what went down in the district. Abigail Robertson with the story.
Margaret Sanger strived for a society that limited births to only those she deemed fit to have children.
Well, I think the greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world that have disease from their parents, that have no chance in the world to be a human being, practically. Delinquents, prisoners, all sorts of things just marked when they're born. That, to me, is the greatest sin.
Many pro-choice advocates see her as a hero, but critics call her a racist eugenics promoter who targeted black communities with her Planned Parenthood clinics.
Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, once said, colored people are like weeds, they need to be exterminated.
People don't understand that 79% of Planned Parenthood clinics are located in minority communities, and that minority communities shoulder a disproportionate amount of abortion.
Dr. King says while African Americans make up only 13% of the U.S. population, over 30% of aborted babies are from black mothers.
Under the veil of secrecy and deception, 60+ million babies have not been born because they were aborted legally since '73. 1/3 of that population belong to the African American community.
Planned Parenthood recently celebrated its 100th anniversary, prompting pro-life leaders to unite under the banner 100 No More to educate the public on the harmful impact Planned Parenthood has had on the African American community. 100 no more hope rallies like this one in Washington spread across the country to enlighten people about Sanger and her tragic legacy.
I have a real serious concern about the number of abortions that's taking place in the minority community, particularly the black community. And that I see this as a form of genocide. That is something we need to take a serious look at.
Planned Parenthood receives around $500 million each year from taxpayers.
96% of the time, if a pregnant woman walks into their clinic, that she will have an abortion.
Pro-life advocates want Congress to move that money to women's clinics that do not perform abortions.
They outnumber already around the country Planned Parenthood clinics 20-1. They truly help poor women. They truly care for the least of these, but they don't do abortions.
Abigail Robertson, reporting for the Brody File.
Abigail Robertson here on the Brody File. By the way, when we come back, more Abigail Robertson. She asked for another segment. We gave it to her. We're paying her extra for this. It's a little Christmas bonus. She'll be back actually with Amber C. Strong. Some Christmas gifts for the holidays. You don't want to miss it. Miss it? What is that? Did I just say miss it? Let's keep that in the show. Back in a moment. And welcome back, everybody, to the Brody File. Okay, a lighter note now. Let's talk about the Trumpet Ministry. No, just kidding. Let's talk about Christmas. Hey, 12 days, 11 days, 10. I don't know how many days. There's some days. Anyhow, Amber C. Strong, Abigail Robertson, look, they work hard, but they didn't really have anything better to do, so they decided to come up with a list of Christmas gifts for the holidays. You got to check this out. And this is, gather everybody around the television. Have a look.
So we know that it is the most wonderful time of year, but we also know that it is the most stressful time of year as well.
Yes, that is so true, and it can be so hard to find gifts, just perfect gifts for everyone. And I don't know about y'all, but I sometimes walk into a store at this time of year and just get nauseous with all the stuff they're trying to sell you everywhere. So Amber and I have come up with a couple uplifting, faith-based gifts, all that you can buy from the comfort of your couch. So to kick this off, I have this book here by Emily Lay, Grace Not Perfection. Not only is it beautiful, but it gives you tangible ways to get your life organized and just get yourself together, and has interactive like lists that you can write. But the whole book also constantly reminds you that nobody is perfect. God does not want us to be perfect, and we serve a gracious God.
It's a great reminder this time of year when there's so much pressure on how things look and how things turn out.
Yeah, and you can buy this at emilylay.com, or if you do want to brave the stores, Walmart, Target, it's sold everywhere. Now, secondly, moving on, we have one of my favorite presents to give anybody. These are little journals and notebooks. As you can see, they come in many different sizes. They are fully customizable. So this first one is just completely blank. You can make it whatever you want. This next one is actually my 2017 planner. So I love it because it's lightweight. It fits in almost all of my purses when I travel. It's not bulky, and they're really pretty. And then they also have prayer and gratitude journals, where these are for 40 days, so it's a great thing to do during Lent. I like to do them year-round, but you can write what you're praying for, then write what you're thankful for, and then a place to write a scripture.
And that's a great gift going into the new year when people are making resolutions and they're trying to get organized and come up with plans. Good place to just keep it all in one place. They say writing it down is the best way to follow through.
Exactly, and the other inserts, they have meal planners, wedding diaries, baby journals, everything. So this is on maydesigns.com. They give first-time buyers a discount, so check that out.
We love discounts.
Yes, definitely. So next we have these scripture cards. These are just wonderful stocking stuffers. They're from Dayspring, handpicked by Sadie Robertson. I love her. So Amber, pick a card, any card.
I will go with this one on top. And it says, "A happy heart makes the face cheerful," which is from Proverbs 15:13.
I might have bricked that because I love that card, but I have these all over my house, all over my desk. I put them on my mirror. It's a great way to memorize scripture. So they have tons of different options. They're really pretty. If people walk by, sometimes I'll give them to them. It's just a fun thing. Yeah, great little stocking stuffer here. Moving on, we have, this is something that I just found a month ago from ProneToWanderLA.com. They have scriptures, Bible verses that you can use, as your phone case.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so they have about, I think like over 50 different options, or if there's a verse that particularly speaks to you, you can customize your own case and they will send you whatever verse you want on one of these really pretty little phone cases. And they also have these wall arts with different scriptures that you can hang in your house. And now I'll hand it over to you.
Yes,
to talk more about these.
Because we're so excited about being able to get the custom scriptures and the custom things, because a lot of times when you go to the big box stores or you go places, you can't really get exactly what you need. And so my favorite place this year is Hobby Lobby. I'm decorating a new house, as you know, and it's not just about the gifts, it's about the decorations as well. So the wonderful thing that I've found in Hobby Lobby are kind of the wall ornaments that have these unique verses. One of them that I love is from Micah 6 and 8. Stuff you're not going to find anywhere else, right? And so check out Hobby Lobby. I think it's free shipping right now if you spend over $50.
I love that.
40% off on one item. Click the Ebates button, get 2% back. I'm all about the couponing.
Yeah.
You know that. So lots of great deals on Hobby Lobby Cyber Week and going into the Christmas time, which again is my favorite spot right now.
I know, and I just love walking into a house and seeing different Bible verses everywhere. It just makes me happy, just puts a smile on my face. So one final present we want to talk about that is free for everybody is the gift of your presence and your time. So we just want to remind you all, when you go home for Christmas or when you go to Christmas dinners, whatever, put your phones away, unplug, and really engage with the people around you and just show them the love of God.
The greatest gift is the gift of family and the presence.
Yes, and just enjoy this Advent season.
All right, just so you understand, those were all faith-based gifts. That's faith hyphen. What's my problem? Faith-based gifts, like cross, the whole. And welcome back, everybody, to the Brody File. All right, look, we've run out of time because I pretty much ad-libbed my way through the whole show, so we're over, if you know what I'm saying. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. No, I don't know about Snapchat. Anyhow, whatever. There's a lot of stuff. I'll check with my 14-year-old daughter, and she'll tell me all about what I need to be on. But in the meantime, God bless. Have a great week. And oh, by the way, the Christmas episode coming soon. Where are we going to be? Not anywhere special. See you soon.